Not quite sure what's going on with all those. Hello, today I'm back at the River Calder. It's going to be another stick float session where we're trotting for dace, roach. We know there's trout in here, grayling as well. The last video we picked up a few more trout than we expected. The setup's going to be similar. I've got my Drennan Acolyte 13-foot float rod, which is a super light rod and perfect for fishing these small rivers. The reel is a Shimano Static, another lightweight reel again, so it makes this setup really light for float fishing these small rivers like this. At the business end I've got a Preston 10 number 4 stick float. I've got a bulk shot arrangement just to get it down, and then we're fishing down to a 2-pound hook length, size 18 hook, and we're going to start on double white maggot. Just got the first one on. So we just got that first grayling. As I say, it's probably taken about half an hour to get the first fish. I've been constantly feeding maggot every cast, just 5 or 6 maggots every time, and I wasn't getting a bite. And then I started playing around with the depth, because although I'd plumbed it and I was fairly certain I was accurate with the depth, I wasn't getting bites. So first of all I just put it under depth a little bit, nothing happened there, and then I went over depth, and I'm slightly over depth. I'm probably about 8 inches over depth, I reckon. And I also played around with my shot and just fine-tuned that a little bit, and then we've managed to get one. So I'm going to step back in now and see if there's any more about. And here we are, second fish. Lovely trout. And hopefully that's about 5 minutes after the other one, and hopefully they're coming in now. And just like the last time on this river, we've got a downstream wind, and the way I'm combating that, because normally a downstream wind when you cast out, you put a bow in your line, makes it hard to control your float. But what I'm doing, I'm casting further downstream, and that way, I'll show you, cast further downstream, and then that way the rods and my line are already behind the float. Make it far easier to control. Lovely little trout. And the bait we're using for today, it's just mixed maggot. These are my older ones. These are what I use for the loose feed. These are my fresher ones, which I'll use on the hook. And also some hemp here. And as I say, what I've been doing, I've been putting the maggots in about here, and the hemp in a little bit further down. Again, just while I was having my dinner. Beautiful trout, absolutely perfect. Look at them. And this little session is another one of those little impromptu sessions when you don't really know you're going to have it. I've only landed here today at about 12:30, so, and it's just going to be another 2 or 3 hour little session. What a life. I'm just holding the float back with my finger, just in the area where we've been getting bites. I can tempt them. If I don't get one, I'll let it run through. Probably till you can't see it, and then back in. And the first time I fished here, which was, I think it was about 2 weeks ago now, it was much warmer. One thing I have noticed is, and it's just from standing in the water, is that the river's much colder than the first time I fished it, and possibly that's the reason why, you know, the activity isn't been as much as it was the first time. So because I've probably been in about 2.5 hours, We've just had 3 fish and my feet are absolutely freezing, and I remember the first time I fished here I'd been in about 3.5 hours and they were only just starting to go cold, but today much colder, and I suspect that's, I know there was a little bit of rain over the last 2 nights, and I suspect some of the water off the land is coming into the river. It's got a little, I mean it's got a little bit of colour in it, not a massive amount, but I'm sure some of that rainwater has come into the river and made it much colder, and that might have just be a reason why the activity's not as good as it was the first time around. So just having a cup of coffee, hoping it'll warm me up a little bit, and then we'll get back out. My feet are absolutely paining now, much colder today, and if I'm honest I don't know how much more we can take. Oh, I'm into one. Oh, and it's giving us a full dance. Bites out of the water. And there we go. A lovely, beautiful trout. How beautiful are they? Absolutely fantastic. And do you know what I did then? I just refined my tackle up. I went down to a 1.7 bottom, size 20 hook. On first cast, that was it. So let's get that one back. And it's the prize now. When you catch a fish, your feet don't feel as cold. So that's the end of the session now. It was just another little 3-hour session, just like we did on the last one. I've got to say it was a bit harder this time though. Never came as easy. We ended up with about half a dozen fish, 1 grayling, 5 trout, all about the same size. But what I will say is I felt, and I'm sorry about the noise in the background, but they've got the, looks like they've got a big extractor on in the factory. Yeah, I felt like we had to work much harder this session. On the last one, we'd get a fish and then cast out and get another one and so on, and there was a bit more of a pattern to it. But with this session, I had to really work for every fish. There was time between bites. I was messing around with the depth. I was messing around with my shotting. I refined the hook length, went to a smaller hook, went to a smaller line to get the last fish. So it was, you know, I'm learning a bit about this river now. But it's a cracking little river, and for another 3-hour little session, and to get those fish is absolute quality. There's the train going over. So I hope you liked the video. If you do, give us a like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification button so that you can keep receiving the videos. Thanks very much.